Hello students, myself Archana Maiti. Today we will discuss an English poem of class 10 English textbook First Flight. The title of the poem is Fire and Ice and it is written by Robert Frost. Let's know about the poet first. Robert Frost was an American poet who had written simply but insightfully with a profound meaning. His poem Fire and Ice is also one of his best poems ever with profound meaning or inner meaning, or we can say symbolical meaning. The Fire and Ice was the poem Fire and Ice was written and published in 1920, shortly after World War I. Now let's discuss the source or inspiration of the poem, or source of inspiration of the title of the poem, we may say. So the first inspiration for the poem is that is Dante's Inferno, which is a poetic and literary journey into hell written in the 14th century. And in Dante's Inferno, it is expressed that, or it is represented that, the sinners were punished to be in a fire like hell and they were submerged into ice up to their chest. And another reported inspiration for the poem is one of those reported conversion. Another inspiration for the poem is a reported conversation that Frost had with an astronomer, in which they talked about the sun exploding means fire or extinguishing means ice. So let's come to the poem. This is the poem Fire and Ice. Let's read it. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. This is the first stanza of the poem. Next stanza. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of it to say that for destruction ice is also great and would suffice. So this is the poem. Now let's proceed for the explanation of the poem. Before we proceed for the explanation, we have to remember that the poem is a work of eschatology. What is the meaning of the term eschatology? Means writing about the end of the world, and it poses two possible causes for this end, that is, one is fire and another is ice. Another is ice and fire. So let's start the explanation. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. So at the starting of these two lines, or at the starting of the poem, from these two lines, it is clear to us that the poet started the poem in a conversational tone. The poet begins by relating that when it comes to how the world will end, some people say the world will end in fire. That means some people favor fire, and some say in ice, and according to some of the other people, the world will end in ice. So in this starting of the poem, or in this starting portion of the poem, or at this early stage of the poem, these two elements, fire and ice, could easily relate natural disaster. This fire and ice could easily relate natural disaster. For example, a potential world-ending fire, a potential world-ending fire could be something like the asteroid that most likely destroyed the dinosaurs, and here ice could easily relate to a future ice age or the extinguishment of the sun. Next, proceed to the poem, next line of the poem. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. In the third and fourth line of the poem, fire not only regarded as the natural element, rather it symbolizes human emotion, desire. Now, it symbolizes human emotion, desire. So, in this third and fourth line, the meaning of the poems, the direction of the meaning of the poem has been changed. Here, it takes the symbolical, it express the symbolical meaning. The symbolical meaning has been expressed from these two lines. That fire means human desire. So the poet is saying, from what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. According to the poet's personal point of view, he is sharing with us that he is well aware about the destructiveness of the human passion, desire. That's why, which is as much competent like fire to destroy human society or human beings. So, here you may ask a question, students, you may ask a question that how can desire be a destructive power? Let's discuss on it. Whether desire is good or not. Whenever there is a desire in your mind that you will be a doctor in future life or in your future, that time this longing or desire that you nurture of being a in your mind of being a doctor, that time desire helps you to achieve your aim. So here desire is not destructive, rather it is helpful to achieve your aim. But here we have to remember that here the poet refers to the term desire, refers to the uncontrollable desire that is destructive for human beings. That means here the term desire refers to the uncontrollable desire of the modern people. Modern people are so much needy or greedy, we may say. They are not satisfied what they have, they want more. That's why this greed or this desire to grasp more, or they hankers after achieving more, this desire leads greediness into them, and that time desire will be regarded as destructive, or desire will destroy human beings, we may say. So here we have to remember that desire means uncontrollable desire. That's why the poet is saying, I hold with those who favor fire. That means desire is as much competent as the fire. As fire is able to destroy the world, similarly desire is also uncontrollable desire, or we may say uncontrollable desire is also competent to destroy the human beings as well as the humanity of human society. So this is the first stanza of the poem. next time. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction ice is also great and would suffice. But if it had to perish twice, here it refers to the world or symbolically the human society, we can say. So if it had to perish twice, if the world had to perish, means die or end twice, I think twice means more than once, so twice two times. I think I know enough of hate. The poet is sharing with us his personal point of view that I know enough of hate. That hate means hatred. To say that for destruction ice is also great. In these lines, ice symbolizes hate or hatred, human passion, hate or hatred, which is as much competent as the fire to destroy the world and would suffice. So the poet is saying that either of these two elements they suffice, they would suffice means they will be sufficient to bring the catastrophic end of this world. They will be sufficient to destroy the world ultimately. So either of these two elements means fire or ice, they will be able to bring the catastrophic end of the world. Now, though fire and elements, both of these are destructive in nature, but they differ in their action. How? Where fire can destroy rapidly, fire leads a rapid destruction. On the other hand, ice leads a slowly or silent damage. Slow destruction or slowly it destroys slowly and steadily, that is it leads silent damage. Fire leads rapid destruction. Thus the poem very artistically points out that human beings, if though human beings let their emotions to rule them, then these emotions, that means uncontrollable, these two emotions, uncontrollable desire and hatred, will bring the ultimate end of themselves. It will bring the ultimate end of themselves. So here again, another thing is that fire, as the poem is written in the shortly after the World War One, so fire may also indicate the warfare too. Fire now seems like an image of warfare too. We may say the poet has used it as the image of warfare also. So whatever fire and ice, as both of them are competent to destroy the world, or both of them are competent to bring a catastrophic end to this world, similarly desire and hatred are also, these two human passions are also competent to bring the catastrophic end of the human society. This is the subject matter of the poem. So what the lesson we have learned here from this poem, that we have to control our emotions. Human beings have to control their emotions. They should not let their emotions uncontrollable, or they should not lead it lead their let their emotions rule them. Rather they should control their emotion. Otherwise this uncontrollable emotion will surely ruin ruin them. This is the lesson of the poem. Next, proceed for the literary devices. Discussion of literary devices. At first, we will discuss the rhyme scheme of the poem. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. Here, fire rhymes with desire and again in this line, fire. So, A, A, A and ice is B. Now, next stanza. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction, ice is also great and would suffice. So here, ice rhymes with twice, ice here again, and suffice. So B, B, and B here. And hate rhymes with great. So it is C, C. So if we say stanza wise rhyme scheme will be A, B, A, A. And in this stanza it will be B, A, B, C, and here again B, C, B. As the poem contains 9 lines, so we may again say the rhyme scheme in this way that A, B, A, A, B, C, and here B, C, B. This is the rhyme scheme. Next, literary devices. The literary devices, those are used in the poems: imagery, assonance, anaphora, alliteration, enjambment, personification. Let's discuss one by one. First of all, imagery. What is imagery? Before the discussion, let's come to know what is imagery. Imagery is used to make readers perceive things involving their 5 senses. Here, when these 2 lines, some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. In another line, the 2 say that for destruction, ice is also great. These lines involve the readers or address the readers to involve in this subject matter, we may say. So this is, or in this image. So this is the imagery, as it is used to make readers perceive things involving their 5 senses, or rather through these lines readers can visualize the subject matter of the poem. Next is assonance. What is assonance? It is repetition of vowel sounds in some line. What is assonance? Assonance is the repetition of the vowel sound in the same line. The repetition is at different places in different words. Suppose in some of the word at the middle and in some words at the end, that time that will be called assonance. Look at this line. I hold with those who favor fire. Here the word hold, those who favor. These words, in these words there is the repetition of the using vowel sound O, and this vowel has been used in the middle somewhere, and look at here it is used at the end of this word. So this is the repetition of the vowel sound O. So it is the use of assonance. Next is anaphora. What is anaphora? Anaphora is the repetition of the same word or same phrase at the starting of 2 or more consecutive lines. Here, in this line, some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. In these two consecutive lines, we may, it is clear to us that there is the repetition of the use of the phrase some say. Both the lines started with this phrase. So, it is the example of anaphora. It is the use of anaphora. Next is alliteration. What is alliteration? Alliteration is the repetition of the same consonant sound in the adjacent words, two or more adjacent words. Adjacent word means words placed side by side. That time it will be called alliteration. Of course, the repetition of the same consonant sound at the starting of the word. That time it will be called alliteration. Here, look at favor, fire. In these two words, in these two words, there is the repetition of the same consonant sound for. Both the words started with F. So, this is the example of alliteration. Another is world will. In these two words also, there is the repetition of the consonant sound wa. So, this is the example of alliteration. Next is enjambment. What is enjambment? Enjambment is the use of or continuation of the clause or thought in the next line. That means the thought or clause that does not come to an end at a line break, rather it moves over to the next line without any punctuation mark. That time it is called enjambment. This is the example of enjambment here. Follow it. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. Here, there is no punctuation mark at the end of this line, and the clause "what I have tasted of fire" is has been continued to the next line without any punctuation mark. So, it is the use of enjambment here. Next is personification. What is personification? Personification is to give human qualities to inanimate objects. In this poem, fire and ice. Fire and ice. These two natural elements are capable of destruction. Thus, the poet personifies this fire and ice by giving them mind and power to destroy anything. That's why this is the use of personification here. Here, the poet personifies fire and ice. That's all for the poem. I hope now the poem will be easier to you. Thank you for watching this video.